All right, guys, today is Sunday, December 19th, 2021. Today marks day 5 of my new 30-day thrash on my wife's 55 Chevy 4-door 210. So this morning I've already been out here and pushed the 2-door hardtop outside. It's not going to rain today. I've got my heater fired up because it is cold. And then I moved the body over here in the center as usual. Anyway, right now I am putting tools up. I have probably every tool in the toolbox is out. Some of the stuff I don't need out anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and put everything up and then just get stuff out as I need it. You know, it gets to the point when you're building a car. A shop I used to work at, the boss was very adamant whether that project got finished that night and we had to come in the next morning to finish it. He always wanted the tools put up at the end of every night, wiped off and put up every night. That way you come in, because some of the tools you don't need again, and it's just clutter, and he hated clutter. So I kind of picked that up from him. I try to keep the stuff kind of tidy in this little 2-car garage, but sometimes it's hard to do. But anyway, I'm putting all the tools up, and then I will get them back out as I need them. Now, the other thing about it is I can't finish this door until my friend Scott Smith brings me that door hinge Monday night, which I'm not going to start on it probably till Tuesday. But anyway, so a lot of these tools I do not need out right now. What I'm going to do today's project, I'm going to try to finish the radio block-off plate that folds down with a magnet and hinges and all that kind of stuff. There is a lot of tedious fabrication work involved in this, a lot of minute little stuff that I got to do. So anyway, I want to try to finish that up today, get all the welds ground down and that pretty much metal finished and operating correctly. So I hope that I can get that done today. It kind of sucks when you start a little project on a vehicle and you can't get it finished in a day's worth of work. It really kind of sucks. Now last night, the video was kind of short because I had a friend of mine, Jason Barrett, come by. I had an old Diamondback bicycle here and you know, it needs restored. Anyway, he has a friend of his that is looking for an old school Diamondback to fix up for his kid. And I happen to have that one. So I shot him a price of $200 and he come and got it. It was given to me, so I don't really care. I made money on it. I'm good with it. But I'll never use it again anyway. Now, I had used it in video series I did, which I have not posted on my channel yet. I kind of screwed it up. I had talked about this in an old video some of you guys may have watched and remember. I have a childhood friend that I hadn't seen since like the late 90s, very early 2000s. And I grew up with that guy and we rode bicycles together, 20-inch BMX bikes together, all over the place. Anyway, I had thought my video idea was to go to my old hometown with my friend and us ride bicycles together. So I actually kind of cleaned up that Diamondback a little bit. I put new tires and tubes, a chain, a seat, some handle grips, re-greased all the bearings and that type of stuff. I didn't paint it or anything like that. I just cleaned it up a little bit. But anyway, I bought all the stuff at Walmart to fix the bike up. And, you know, it ended up, now I know why people buy new bicycles for their kids nowadays. It's cheaper than it is to fix one up. So anyway, my friend, he didn't want to fix up a Mongoose bike that I got him out here. So he just went to Walmart and bought a new bike, and then he's going to give it to his grandson. So it kind of worked out good for him. But anyway, that bike, we went to that town and we rode around together, and it was awesome. I loved it. I filmed a lot of stuff of our hometown, talked about some old things that were there, businesses, you know, what they used to be, what they're not now. A lot of the places are shut down, you know, like the windows are plasticed up, and it's kind of a shame to see that stuff in a small town, but it happens, you know, a lot. Anyway, my last GoPro battery died, so I could not finish filming everything I wanted to film. So I need to go back to the old hometown, and I need to try to see if he wants to go with me. And anyway, we need to refilm that. Now, I'm not riding that bicycle again. My butt was sore from that seat for 3 or 4 days, so I'm not going to be using that bicycle again. It served its purpose for my idea I had in my head, and it's done. But anyway, I got $200 out of it, and I'm happy with that. It may have been worth a little more, it may have been worth less, I don't know, don't care. But Anyway, now it's gonna, a kid is actually gonna use the bike, and that's what needs to be done anyway, instead of it going to scrap, you know what I mean? I saved it, we'll say. But anyway, what the cool part is Jason, he's the guy that rebuilds transmissions. And he's the one that offered to rebuild this Turbo 350 for this four-door for free if I bought the kit. So he handed me $200 last night, and I turned around and handed him 100 of it back to buy the rebuild kit. So he's got two 4L60s or 80s he said to do right now. I guess he's doing one right now. And then he's got another one to do. And then I'm next in line. So definitely going to be getting the transmission done pretty soon. And I did ask him if it was going to be okay if I filmed in there when we're doing it. And he said he did not give a crap. So anyway, I'll have a transmission rebuild video. Now, I don't know that I'm going to go full-blown how to rebuild your Turbo 350. It's probably not going to be that. It's probably just going to be, you know, I'll show the inside of a shop, and I'll show a few things as he rebuilds it and stuff, because I'll have to clean all the parts. So we're both going to be working on it. We're going to try to knock it out quick. Anyway, he's got some pretty cool stuff around his place, and I'll video that. So anyway, I've got another cool video coming out of that. Now, the other $100 that I had left over, I'm going to go down tomorrow and deposit it in the bank account, because I actually spent it last night before I went to bed on eBay. I spent it on this car. You know, I took money from a bicycle and I'm just turning around and using it on this car. It's a cool thing to do. So I'm not going to tell you right now what I got for the car. This is probably going to be the coolest detail feature of this car. And I don't know that I've seen this done. I've seen people do something similar from scratch. I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but I'll get more to it when the parts come in from eBay. Now, I had a few things here in my spare closet, stuff that I had bought back in 2014, and I bailed out on that idea for that particular car, which was for my hardtop. So I'm going to carry it over to this one. It's more fitting for this project, so it's going to be awesome. You guys are going to love it. And it's details. Like, my brain never stops working when I think of something. Like, if something gets in my head, like, I have a hard time sleeping at night. It takes me a while before I actually fall asleep, because my gears never stop turning in my head thinking about stuff. And if something pops into my head, an idea, by the time I get up in the morning and walk out here, I know exactly how I'm going to execute that thing. I'm going to start on it, and I pretty much have an idea how I'm going to do it from start to finish. This, I've already built it in my head, but it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. So I want to say I had a buddy of mine stop by a few days ago, and he was just come by to see what I was doing. And you know, he's one of those guys that he kind of has that little bit of a negative attitude, which he doesn't notice it, but you know, he's almost kind of like he likes to belittle you a little bit. This guy doesn't do what I do to cars, but he does like cars. But anyway, he's looking at the four-door, and he goes, you know, you got a two-door hardtop. I can't believe you're not working on that, and you're working on a four-door. And I'm like, I'm building this car for my wife. It's a gift. You know, that's going to make me and her happy to have a gift for my wife. And he said, yeah, but you're putting too much stuff into it. It doesn't need that kind of stuff. I don't even know why he said that, you know. I don't know where that comes from. I like to do cool stuff to cars, what I think's cool. I like to customize cars. I like to detail cars. That personalizes that car. I'm not going to slop crap this car together just to get it on the road for my wife to drive. I want it to have cool features and details like my hardtop does. That way, when she, you know, goes to a gas station in this car by herself and she's filling it up or whatever, and somebody stops by and was, you know, looking at the car, she's got cool details and features of this car she can show off, and she's going to have a smile on her face when she's doing it. It's not just your ordinary 55 four-door, so it's going to have a lot of neat features. And I'm going to tell you, when I do the engine compartment on this car, it is going to look just as awesome as my two-door hardtop engine compartment. Clean, detailed, everything just right. That is what I pride myself on, is engine compartment details. Not saying I'm awesome at it, but I have kind of a thing that I do. So this car is going to be no exception. But Anyway, I am real excited to get those parts in from eBay. It's going to make up, man, I don't even know, 5, 6, 7 pieces, separate little pieces. But when I tie it all together, it's going to be cool. Anyway, so, you know, if you guys have watched my videos long enough, or I know some of you guys have watched me from try5.com back when I did forum builds, just built on a car forum, and I would post pictures. I have a few subscribers that's followed me from there to my YouTube channel. So you know I'm a little bit sometimes overboard on the detail part of stuff. Because details usually cost money. I mean, that's the reality of it, is details cost money. Sometimes it's not a lot of money, but by the time you add up quite a few things for that detail item, it's a lot of money. But luckily I have some of the stuff here, and what I bought finished off the package, we'll say. So anyway, that'll be coming probably next week. Anyway, I'm going to get started on this thing. I'm going to finish up the cleaning, and then I'm going to start on that radio. So, oh my gosh, I got 11 minutes in. And Brent McLovin, wake up, because you told me in that video that you fall asleep after about 20 minutes. So wake up. All right, guys, so it is about, I think about 7 p.m. So it is the end of day 5 of my new thrash on my wife's 55 Chevy. So tomorrow will be day 6. I will almost have a full 7-day weekend and really not be as far along as I want, which is usually the way it goes. But I posted a video a little bit ago showing valve cover modification. I did it right there on the floor. Of course, I've got my mess cleaned up now, but anyway, so I modified a valve cover for this car for a PCV system. So, you know, that took quite a bit of time. And at that point, I got in here and worked on the radio. The fold down cover here. Now there's still tons of work to do to this thing. Well, not tons, but I've still got quite a bit of, you know, fine detail finish work to do, and it's going to be a lot. But anyway, it has been a challenge trying to figure this out just with stuff I have here, but I think I got it pretty dialed in now. Anyway, this will fold down, and then there's the radio behind it. I stated this in the video when I posted it about this before, where I basically started on it. I cut out this side of the dash here, and this is still the factory width. So if anybody, you know, down the line after, you know, me and my wife's dead and gone, if anybody down the road wants to change the dash out back to original, they can do that. They just got to put a strip in here and drill a hole for the knobs. Not that hard work to do because, you know, it's flat metal. Even a novice metal guy will be able to repair that. But anyway, this is what I wanted because I wanted the car to have a kind of a stripped down 210, you know, poor man's, I guess you'd say 210, I don't know, but I wanted the radio delete plate. This is a factory radio delete plate from a 55, but anyway, lots of finish work to do, but now it hinges down and there's the radio behind it. Now I've still got to weld a bracket up in here that I'm going to drill and tap to use this magnet that has a hole in the center of it. So that will attach up in there, and that magnet is what will hold this closed. Now I do have it spaced off of the dash a little bit, so there is a little bit of space behind it. I did that so she'll be able to reach up there and grab it. I did think about putting a little thin piece of sheet metal strap that I could, you know, weld to the back or screw to the back or whatever, and kind of come up and over, kind of like a mailbox lid, so she'd be able to pull it down. So I may do that, but I kind of like it without it. It looks a lot better. It looks like a factory radio delete that's bolted on. But anyway, what I did was I noticed when this hinge comes down, it goes more in toward the dash and was actually hitting it. So I took some thin cardboard and actually taped it to the bottom of the dash down here, and that way it's enough space to get it up off there, you know, because I still got to paint it as well. I'm just doing single stage paint, so it's not going to take a lot of paint, but for mill thickness basically. But anyway, I ended up welding little pieces of square sheet metal here. Now this sheet metal is double the thickness of this dash, but the reason I did that piece like that is so I could drill it and tap it for these little 632 Allen buttons. Now I only have 2 of those bolts here, so I'm going to have to go to the hardware store and get 2 more. But anyway, I did drill and tap the holes for the other 2. I just only had 2 screws here. So Anyway, I've got lots of finish work to do on the plate itself. I removed the factory backing plate off of it. It has two big raised bosses on it with studs coming out of it that would have went into your factory radio holes for nuts on the back. So I removed all of that. I am going to cut a piece of sheet metal out that fits exactly down in there and meets up to this flange. And I'm going to go in and fully weld it all the way around and grind it and smooth it so it looks like one solid piece. Because right now it's real flimsy without that back plate in there. So when I get done with it, it should be it should be warped all to hell, and then I'm going to have to go back and straighten it all out. But anyway, I'm happy with it. Now I had to angle these brackets at an angle, and the reason I did it at an angle is because when these hinges are straight apart, because I moved them up on the plate a little bit, so when they're fully straight out, that right there is as far as it goes. So it won't fall down into like the glove box, the knob on the glove box, so it won't rub the paint off of it. But anyway, I angled these brackets here and I welded them in. So anyway, now I cut both of them. They're pretty much too long. I mean, you can see it off the top of the hinge right there. Anyway, I'm going to go back and I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to trim these down until they're dead even with the hinge. So all you'll really see is that hinge sticking up there. You won't see the metal behind it. But it's away from the radio. It's spaced off of it, so it worked out pretty good. My pocket that I built for the radio here, I'm going to take some all metal and I'm going to mix it up, and then I'm just going to use my finger and get it off into the corners, where that's 90-degree bent pocket that I made out of steel for that radio to fit behind there. I'm going to put all metal on my finger and just go all the way around it so it looks like it has a nice smooth transition in it. And then I'll sand it down, and then I'm basically just going to primer it and then put some aerosol bed liner on it so it'll have a textured finish in that pocket down in there, and it'll be black. So it'll kind of hide. I don't want to paint it the body color that I'm putting on the dash because, it'll stand out, the pocket will stand out. I kind of want all that to disappear because the radio is black as well. But anyway, I got more tacks to put on these hinges here for the face, and then I got to grind that down. And then I got to put a piece in the back to stiffen this up to hide all this nasty. But I got to weld a tab under here out of sheet metal that I can drill and tap to bolt on that magnet that has a hole in it. But I mean, it's almost done, but at least the hard fabrication part is done. And I think that's pretty awesome, man. When I was cutting that back plate out of there, the cutoff wheel got a little bit deeper in, and it actually almost went through that radio face. So I'm going to have to go in there and tack and tack and tack the crap out of that, go back and grind it flat, and then go in here and grind this back smooth. So, I mean, there is a lot of finish work that I have to do here, but I got what I was after out of it, which was a hidden audio. I think that's kind of cool. It's going to look completely like there's nothing there. So I think it's pretty cool. Now, I've said it before, I'm painting the car kind of like it's a 50s color, but it's more of a Buick color that I actually picked out. I think a 55 or 6 Buick. The color I picked out was called, I don't know if it's an original Buick name, it's called Willow Green is what I mixed a long time ago for a 55 Buick I had. But it's more of a green than a blue look like the factory CMS green is. But the whole car is going to be that willow green color, and just the insert of the dash right here will be the Shoreline Beige Factory 55 color. I didn't want to put white on here. I wanted a tan color because, it just kind of, it's going to stand out a little bit. I think it's going to give it a little bit of pizzazz. So I kind of thought about Daryl Starbird's car show coming up. They always have a whole bunch of very talented pinstripers there. There's a big table area at Starbird's car show in Tulsa in February, and there is tons of guys that sit down there, and that's all they do is you take stuff in and they pinstripe it for you. So what I'm going to try to do is get a little bitty jar and take some of my green that I'm putting on the car, because the center is going to be tan, the radio delete plate will be tan, and I'm going to see if he'll pinstripe the star here green, because eye shake's too bad to do any kind of brush work, and I don't have any striping brushes. I never learned how to do that, but I think that'd be pretty cool for them to do, so I'll take this with me when I go. But it's just kind of thought in my head that I may do. I don't know that I really want that little star, it's embossed, it's sticking out, raised up off there. I don't know if I want that to stick out or not, but it would look kind of cool, I think, on the other side of it. But for original, it wouldn't be that way. But this car's kind of original, but it's not going to be, you know what I mean? Resto mod, I guess. Anyway, guys, I'm rambling on here. I need to get my hardtop back in here before the neighborhood cats climb in there and swing it. So, which hopefully they haven't done that yet. But anyway, that is the end of day 5 working on my wife's car. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.